What is going on, you guys? It's your girl Doda.
Hey, it's me, Vinny.
Hi, it's Taylor.
Hey, it's Chef T.
And the Twilight movies, yeah, we seen it. Episode on We Seen It, and as you can tell by the title, we are going to be discussing the Twilight movies, Twilight series. Okay, the reason why we are discussing this is because all of a sudden recently it decided to blow up again on Netflix, because it was like one day I was scrolling the Netflix like I want to watch something. And the first thing I seen was Twilight. I said, not to putting the movies back on Netflix. Your girl's gonna watch it, and she did. So today we're gonna be discussing that with my fellow co-hosts and friends who are also very passionate about the Twilight series. So with that being said, I have a question for you all. What is your overall take of Twilight? How did you get introduced? What do you think about it? We will start with Divinity.
All right. Well, okay. So I watched Twilight when I was very young. The movie came out when I was extremely young. But because my sister, who was a lot older than me, she was always watching Twilight. So I was like, well, I want to watch it too. So I kind of got addicted with the series. I loved the saga. I loved everything about it. When I was younger, now that I'm older, I see the problems with it. I can see where other people saw flaws, but all in all, I still enjoyed the movie and definitely recommend it.
Okay, Chef T.
Yeah, so nobody really introduced me to Twilight. I had just seen it. I think it was on Amazon Prime Video a while back. I was probably like 10, 11, 12, who knows. Anyway, the movies are interesting. I would say that, of course, they could be better, but they're mostly a chick flick, so it's not really for guys because it's kind of like cringy romance. But some parts, of course, could be taken out. It'll make the movie much better. But overall, the movies, I enjoyed it then. I haven't really watched them since, so I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, Tay.
Well, I was forced against my will to watch these movies by Doda and Trinity, because I guess this whole feud about Edward versus Jacob, I was like, okay, then I must watch it then, since they keep arguing about it. So they're good. I mean, over exaggerated a bit. I'm not the type of person to watch vampires and werewolves, like Vampire Diaries and the originals. I'm not really into that. But it's all right. It's all right.
Listen, since you talked about Vampire Diaries original, all that legacies, y'all know the real ones know. Okay, it's all about
legacies.
Okay, listen, Taylor, you better. I heard about your mom. Shout out Sister Green, who loves to watch these vampire movies. Taylor, jump on the wagon. Okay, so my next question is how would you rank these Twilight movies? So there's a total of 5. We have the first movie, which is just Twilight, and then we have New Moon, then we have Eclipse, then we have Breaking Dawn Part 1 and Breaking Dawn Part 2. So we're basically going to rank them from our least favorite to our favorite. This time we're going to start off with Chef T. Give us your number 5.
My number 5 would have to be the second one because I don't really remember it that much. So whatever that is, it's what?
That's New Moon. Wow. Okay. Yep. All right. Okay. Alrighty. Vinny?
I'm gonna have to agree. I wasn't a big fan. I liked New Moon, but it's definitely not. It'd either be New Moon or Eclipse. So I would have to say Actually, no, I'm gonna say Eclipse. That Eclipse takes the belt as number 5. But yeah, I was not a fan of Eclipse at all.
Okay, Tay.
This may be an unpopular opinion, but Twilight Breaking of Dawn Part 1, trash. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The storyline was bizarre. It was too much for me.
I'm not gonna lie.
I understand that.
Part 1 is also in my number 5 because
Yeah.
it was too much going on to the point where I don't even want to watch this anymore right now. But I'm gonna have to agree with Tay. I put that as my number 5. Wow, the fact that y'all put New Moon in Eclipse.
Right. Like
I wasn't thinking about that part at that very moment.
No, I know that Breaking Down Part 1 had its moments where it's just like horrible, but it's not as bad as Eclipse.
No, besides the ending of Part 1, where we thought she was gonna die and left us at like some cliffhanger. Besides that, the movie was, but it just wasn't.
Like if you giving us marriage and a child in one movie.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, y'all doing too much. Y'all could have really drugged that out. But okay. Anyway,
Eclipse barely had anything. Eclipse was so dry to watch. Like,
no, we're gonna get to that. No, we're gonna get to that. Okay, our number 4. I'm gonna go first. My number 4 is the first movie, Twilight. I mean, it was good for a first movie because obviously it kept people watching to the point where they wanted to make another one. But based upon the remaining movies, it's gonna have to go as my number 4. Yeah, but okay. Divinity, you're number 4.
Obviously, it's New Moon.
Wow.
I did not enjoy, like, Edward leaving made no sense. He had no real need to leave. So I was like, what are we doing here? Like, he left literally just to leave. Like, I was not a fan.
Okay, facts. Hey.
I had to go with Dakota on this one. Twilight, the original. I mean, I just put it at 4 because I like the other 3 movies better. So,
thank you. All right, Chef T.
I'm gonna have to go with Eclipse.
Wow.
So it's New Moon and Eclipse, yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, I'm not even gonna say nothing until we get there. All right, so let's go to our number 3s. This time we're gonna start off with Tay. What is your number 3?
All right. I was having trouble trying to rank this one, but I put Twilight New Moon because this is when Jacob gets some character development. I mean, come on. Like, we get to finally realize that he's a werewolf, and now Bella's in between 2 vampire werewolves. So
thank you. My number 3 is also New Moon. It's so funny how me and Taylor are flowing on today. I don't know what's going on over there. Listen, y'all, New Moon, if I'm not mistaken, was when Jacob cut his hair. Did he not?
Yes.
He cut his hair, and then it was that rain scene, and I was like, oh, glory. All right, that's on my number 3, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, the other, because I don't know why y'all down in New Moon as if it didn't have that in there. Okay,
I don't remember it.
The movie. No, sad. All right, Vinny.
So I'm gonna have to go with Breaking Dawn Part 1. Just because, like, Edward has never been so toxic. Like, the way he was treating Bella when she was pregnant was a whole different level. I have never seen such anger out of Edward. So I definitely have to put that as 3. I did enjoy, like, the little wedding parts. It was cute. It was a little cute little thing, but definitely at 3.
Okay, Chef T.
I actually have to agree with Vinny. Like, Part 1, hey, I don't know why, but I was gonna say that Breaking Dawn Part 1 is number 3. I would say all the good parts, not that part.
Majority of the movie was that.
Right.
Exactly. No.
But right. I like the wedding scene, and then there was a message. But yeah, I like the wedding scene, and then I don't know, when after she got pregnant, when they were all kind of like scared or whatnot if she's gonna live or not, and then Edward kept biting her, which is funny to me.
Okay. All right.
Venom in her. Right.
Anyways, okay. So our number 2, I'm gonna go first with this one. My number 2 is Eclipse. The infamous scene on the mountain. Okay, that was my favorite part. That is why it is at number 2. Okay, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. If you know what I'm talking about, you should agree. Okay, that's at my number 2. So, Chef T, what is your number 2?
I guess I'm gonna go with Breaking Dawn Part 2 because it was interesting, I guess.
Wow. Okay.
And it's because the other ones I already explained my reasons, so yeah.
Tay?
For this one, I put Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2, the same as Trinity.
See?
Because it was a good movie. Like, I almost put this at first place, but it was just like the fact, well, spoiler alert, the fact that it was just all a vision, I was like, I want to see some real emotion. I want somebody to die.
That is the best part of the movie.
Can Carlisle die? Like, and we
Yes.
live for death?
Yes.
Happily ever after? Like, no.
And it ended up not being the case. When I watched it back, I completely forgot that happened. And then I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, that was the best part.
I wanted that to be real. Like, someday they're going to have to face the Volturi. Like, come on.
Not it being real. Okay, there are some amazing characters who died.
Exactly. And that was confirmation for me that the series was over.
You know what? Okay. Vinny, just go.
I'm gonna have to put my number 2 as the original Twilight. I enjoyed it. It was a great movie. I loved it, but it did what it was supposed to do to carry along the saga. Like, it was a good first movie, but it definitely wasn't very memorable. There was a lot of scenes that were just like openly cringy. But since it's the first movie, you know, you got to give respect where respect is due. So I put that as second.
Can't hate that. My number 1, which everyone knows now, is Breaking Dawn Part 2. Okay. And I put this at my number 1 because, first of all, I cried the most during this movie. Did it not give you the most emotion? Come on. You have to agree with that. The ending with the little montage and showing everybody's flashbacks and mess. And then Jacob and Renesmee. I was like, oh my gosh. I started crying in mess. And then for the whole fight scene, I was like, oh my gosh, Carlisle's dead. All these people are dying. And then it was a whole vision. That was the best part, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, that's at my number 1. Taylor, we're gonna go with you.
My number 1, this is very controversial as well, Twilight Eclipse. Because, listen. Now, that was some real fighting. That was some fighting, and it was not a vision. Thank you.
Okay. Chef T.
Well, I've already said all the other movies, which leaves the original, Twilight as number 1.
What?
I don't remember the full movie, so I only remember certain parts which I enjoyed. So boom, that's my opinion. I don't care what you guys have to say.
Okay, wow, Vinny.
I have to agree with Dakota. Definitely Breaking Down Part 2. If you guys don't remember, this is also kind of a spoiler alert, but at the end, like the very end, when it was like Bella and Edward and they were in the garden or whatever they were, y'all, she did not have Renesmee's power. You know what she did? She let her guard down around him. So he read her memory. Like, bro, that's exactly what she was thinking. No, it was best scene by far. Best movie out of the Twilight Saga. Number 1, loved it.
Thank you. I forgot about that. And I was going to mention that too, because I seen a video and they were like, oh my gosh, I just realized something. And I was like, I just realized that too. Basically, she was letting her guard down because he couldn't read her mind. So then basically he was reading her mind. And I was like, no, come on. You guys have to, Trinity, the first Twilight for your number.
Hey,
I'm not even. Okay. All right.
We have our own opinions.
since we've gone through all of that, we're gonna go through our favorite character in the Twilight series and why. So we're gonna start off with Chef T. I'm gonna start with you. I have a feeling of who you gonna say, but just go ahead.
No, I'm not gonna say who you think I'm gonna say. My favorite character in the Twilight series was for some reason Jasper. Because he was, I don't know, he was very quiet and weird, so it made me laugh all the time. And I really enjoyed just watching the person who plays him, portray his character because it was funny.
Okay, Tay.
Hands down, Jacob. I mean, I don't know how to describe him without giving off the movie, but yeah, I mean, he was taken for granted in this movie, and I sympathize for that man so much. So Jacob is my favorite character. He's upfront and forward, and I just love it. Thank you.
Thank you. He was the underdog. Okay, Vinny.
Okay, so my favorite, I was thinking hard about it. Okay, because I have a tie, right, for favorite. It's like Emmett and Alice, right?
Yeah.
But I have to put Alice first. Alice is the girl, main girl.
Right.
First movie, she was a little shy, but then you fully just seen her become the great friend that she was to Bella. Always loved her, was very cool to her. We love Alice.
Surprisingly, I was going to say Alice as well. I don't know, she grew on me. I love Jacob, by the way. But Edward. But Alice, I don't know, she did something to me. Like, she was there for Bella when she needed her the most. Like, stop playing. Alice, she's like honestly a real best friend. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go with Alice on that. Okay, so this is a very controversial topic that we are now about to go into. Because I remember, like, when these first movies were coming out and I'm watching them and I'm seeing all this stuff on, like, all these, little bit, because we didn't really have the social media platforms we do now. So, growing up, we would be on these little games, and then people would be coming to school with pictures of either Jacob or Edward. So we're now going to discuss Jacob versus Edward. Who are you choosing? Honestly, there's somebody in here that I don't even want to hear from. So, we don't do that for last and just let them speak their truth. But, I'm going to start with Vinny on this because I actually don't know her take. So who are you going with, Edward or Jacob?
Okay, so I've said this plenty of times. Both men have their faults. And I am more team Bella than anyone. I support Bella all the way. I think she would have been better as a human. Her life would have sprouted into something beautiful. But for the sake of the either or, I would have to say it's Edward. Now, no. Hear me out. Okay. The reason as to why I say it was Edward is because in the movies, Jacob never really had a chance in a sense. Like, if they played it to where it was like, okay, at least you could see that she liked Jacob, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, sure, like maybe. But in the movies, they never really showed it as to like, oh yeah, Bella and Jacob's, relationship is blooming. No, when she only liked him for a split second when Edward left her, that means he was a second option the entire time. She never had real feelings for Jacob. So, but I feel like if they would have played it out better, maybe I would have been team Jacob. But yeah.
You know what? I'm going to go second just to debunk everything that you have to say. Listen, no, Trinity, don't even try to.
No, ma'am.
Let me tell y'all something. If we're talking about Bella, team Bella, woo, yes. For her sake, Jacob was better for her. You have to admit that. Edward, this dude was putting her in danger come on now. This chick almost died several times because of Edward. Jacob, on the other hand, first of all, she wouldn't have to live out her entire life eating on animals and mess if she just would have been human and been with Jacob and happily ever after. There you go. So boom. And then from the jump, she had a love for him. even before she had a love for Edward, but she didn't want to say nothing about it. Okay, but Jacob was good for her. Okay, Edward was extremely toxic, and you can't deny that. You can't deny that. So I'm going with Jacob, y'all. Actually, I'm gonna go with Chef's Tea next because we just want to get her over with. So go ahead.
Excuse me. Well, of course, you already know my answer because I already talked to you about this. But mine is Team Edward, of course, 100%. And I don't agree like that he put her in a lot of danger stuff. I feel like she put herself in that predicament. So I'm not on Team Bella. Shush. I'm not on Team Bella at all.
How did she put herself in that danger?
I don't even really like Bella in the whole shows because she's extra to me. But I don't hate Jacob, okay? I don't, but he's not my number one between the two. So it's definitely Edward. I feel like he's more, there's more to him than just running around with fur.
What? Oh, okay.
Hey, but when you think about it though, she was still in danger when it came to Jacob. You remember the
Edward,
alpha?
but it was because
the alpha scratched up his girl. That would have scared me.
That's true.
She had that big old scratch on the side of her face. No.
I'm sorry for her, but that had nothing to do with Jacob.
That had nothing to do with Jacob.
It's anger issues.
That has something to do with Sam.
No. And then who was there for her when Edward
left? Thank you.
I made him a second option.
Because he left her, and then to the point where he thought that she died. So if that was the case, though, if she actually died, who was there for her? Jacob. Not Edward. Okay, Taylor, go ahead. Go ahead. Give your favorite.
Listen.
Go ahead, Taylor.
It's Jacob all the way. I'm sorry. It's Jacob because Edward gets on my nerves. And like Trinity said, Bella was doing extra through the whole thing. She was a player. I mean, I've seen a lot of movies where the guy's a player, but this girl, she was a player. Yeah. The fact that she was willing to name her child, if it was a boy, EJ, Edward, Jacob, I was like, nah, she gotta go. She gotta go. But yeah, I like Jacob and Bella, they were friends before they had a relationship, which I feel like would be the most stable. But Edward, they didn't even have any sort of type of relationship. All he did was thirst after her blood because it was sweet. So technically he was just lusting after her, and that's not love. So
exactly. And only wanted to get to know her because he couldn't read her mind. Had nothing to do with nothing else. So you know what? It's Team Jacob. Y'all put it down in the comment section. Are you Team Jacob or are you Team Edward? Okay. We're not even gonna go into looks at this point, because if we go into looks, I already know it's gonna get heated, hot, and heavy, and I don't want to deal with that because I don't want to hear nothing about Taylor Lautner. Okay, nowadays. Okay, we understand he has eaten a little bit too much. But in those movies, who had a little bit more body and structure? Jacob, not Edward, Jacob. Okay. Anyway, so we're gonna move on before it gets heated and I gotta kick somebody out the group. Anyways, so my next question is kind of just more relevant to now. Do you think that Twilight is still relatable? Is it still good for people to watch despite the TikToks that I have seen on this movie? Do you think it is still relevant or relatable today for people to watch and enjoy? So first we're gonna ask Divinity.
Okay, so I think it's still like easy to enjoy. I don't think it is really relevant, but it's still very easy to enjoy. I personally, if the movie is still like running, doing its thing, when I have children, they will watch the movie. Period. Like you it's such a landmark in every little girl's life to watch Twilight. So it's like you don't get to live your life without watching the cringy moments. You got to go through the cringe too. You got to have a Team Edward, Team Jacob moment. So I definitely think it's something that girls need to watch just because, you could relate a lot to it. It was very, very fun to watch. Very interesting movie.
That's true. Taylor?
I'm not sure if it's relevant for today, but I think it is relatable. I mean, some of the things that they say is over exaggerated, like when Edward says, "I've been waiting for you ever since my whole entire existence." I'm like, dude, shut up. I don't care. And so I feel like you can relate with Bella, playing folks. Yeah, you can relate to that. Some people can't. I can't. But
I got some names on my list.
no.
I ain't gonna say no.
No.
Go ahead. I'm not even.
Oh my God. But yeah, I think you can relate to them despite, werewolves and vampires because they don't exist, but you can relate to them on a personal level.
That's true. Chef T.
Well, okay. About the enjoying part, I think some people will. I think if I watched it again, like the whole series, I would just laugh at it, not even fully just, enjoy the movie for what it is, but mostly because of how cringy it is and how just some parts it's just like, what the heck?
Right.
Why does this exist? This is like a kind of a dumb concept, but I will say that it's enjoyable to watch, for the humor of it and because I'm kind of older, so, And is it relatable? I will say it kind of is because, I feel like I've never experienced it myself, but I feel like I've seen multiple people where they always have a choice between two people, which one, I don't know which one's right for my life. But yeah, I guess that's my answer.
Yeah, I would agree with all of you guys. I don't think it's relatable in the sense of like obviously the supernatural with, the vampires and whatever. But with, relationship wise, dealing with players and people who are confused about their feelings, we've dealt with that a lot. So I think that it's relatable in that sense. So yeah, I think that people will still enjoy it. I think just recently people have gotten a laugh out of it because obviously it was made like so many years ago, so obviously the acting and everything is probably very cringy. It was interesting. Their wardrobe was interesting.
Graphics.
That time is no, but I definitely think if they were to recreate it or come back with another movie like they were supposed to with Renesmee and Jacob, then we would definitely enjoy it. I feel like we would, but yeah. So that's my take on it. And so the last thing that we are going to hit and discuss, people have been a little bit confused about this. But I want to hear you guys' take on it. What is your take on Jacob imprinting on Renesmee? And I'm going to start with my take and then, you guys can say. So basically, I think everyone assumed that imprinting was like when you feel like you want to have a deeper relationship with somebody, you imprint on them. But if you listen closely, Jacob said that number one, he cannot even, he can't control who he imprints on. It just happens. And number two, Renesmee was a child. Okay. I don't think that was, he was trying to be a pervert by imprinting on her. I think he did it most of all to protect her, especially because some of the other, people were wolves or whatever were trying to kill her, the baby and everything. So he imprinted on her to protect her. So that's my take on the imprinting. Divinity, what's your take?
Okay, so I feel like I do agree it wasn't his fault that he imprinted on her. They've already said it plenty of times that you can't really control who you imprint on. And also if you read the books, he didn't even really want to imprint on anyone. And he only tried to imprint on somebody once, and it was a random girl. And that's because he wanted to get over his feelings for Bella. So it was like, obviously, he did not want to imprint on Renesmee. That was not his goal. I think that he probably should have told Bella in a better way because, you know, she just had a kid and it's not like, oh, you know, I'm now going to be with your daughter forever. It's like, oh, that's kind of weird. That's kind of weird. But I think we should more be asking, why would an author put this in a book before we ask, why would Jacob fall in love with a child? Let's go back to who made the book, you know? Hit on the main problems, okay? Not him. It wasn't his fault. It was the author's fault, not him.
That's true. You know, I can still see that scene when Bella was like, "You imprinted on my daughter."
Imprinted on my daughter? It wasn't my choice. She's a baby.
Bro, oh my God. I love that scene. That's amazing. Chef T, what is your take on Jacob imprinting on Renesmee?
I didn't really think about it like that, Vin, but yeah, that's very interesting. Like, why would a whole author put that type of foolishness? To me, okay, when he imprinted on Renesmee, I kind of felt like it was really weird because I'm like, you're a whole grown man around Bella's age, which means that's like her parent, you know, imprinting on, that's just weird. No, that's weird. That's completely weird. And I don't understand it. I understand you can't control it, I do, but it's kind of like, couldn't they have done it, or couldn't the author have made it someone who was closer to his age or something like that? Not some random, she's not random, but not some little kid that just got born. No, thank you. Yeah, no, but that's my take.
Technically, if he didn't imprint on her, he was gonna kill her, because if Bella died, it would have been over. So, if we're gonna talk about pedophile behavior, let's look at Edward for an instance. 108 years old vampire falling in love with a 16-year-old girl. And technically, when she birthed Renesmee, she wasn't even like a full-grown woman. She was just like 18, maybe 18, 19, 17. And then Jacob was like a age younger than her. So, well, I mean, if it was meant to be, it was meant to be. I mean, of course, he's not going to be in a full-blown relationship with her right then and there when she's like 0 years old. But still, if we're going to talk about pedophile behavior, let's look at Edward. Thank you.
Thanks.
Totally different situation.
That
doesn't apply. That's the same
I do
thing.
not care if he was 17 for 108 years.
Because if it was real time, then
He was still 17.
No.
But it's not real time, so that
It's
doesn't
not.
apply.
If it was,
He did.
well, okay, he lived for 108 years. That's sick. That's nasty. You
Okay,
cannot.
but he's still the same age.
No, you can't even
He's still
justify it.
17.
So wait,
He's still 17 in a 17-year-old body. So
no, you can't justify that. Anyway, I looked up what imprinting means, and it says that it's the involuntary, by the way. So yeah, we can blame the author because it wasn't Jacob's fault. Mechanism where the wearables basically find their soulmates. So
just ew.
Hey, Taylor made a good point. I ain't gonna lie to you. All right,
It's not a good point at all.
That's what I'm saying.
It is a good point.
great.
It's not.
Y'all,
Not at all.
you know what?
That's not like y'all on Team
Yeah.
Edward and y'all going for him.
No.
Going for Team
Taylor,
Baylor.
you act like Taylor.
Clap up the pedophile
Taylor. No.
to be with.
I mean,
Y'all
he's still
acting
17.
like right. Y'all acting like he's some corpse walking around with Bella. No. This boy is
He's still 17.
still 17.
No,
Yes.
in a technical sense, he pretty much is. Yeah.
What?
You can't even lie.
Exactly.
And
No.
if you think about it like that way, he's probably dated hundreds of high schoolers because he keeps going to high school. He's dated probably hundreds of high schoolers.
No, because Kendrick, who was in the movie, was like, nobody's good enough for him. So
I was in that town.
Right.
They've
he
been
was only
moving
in
towns a
Florida.
lot.
You just proved.
They've been moving towns a lot.
No, you
No.
just proved our point
No.
that he been going
He's
from
literally a 17-year-old.
108 years.
He's 17. He can't even. But think about it. if the entire world thinks you're 17, what do you look like dating a 30-year-old? Folks gonna look like that's weird too.
Just a point.
Not if you're hidden in like the woods or something. I don't know.
What?
But even so, wait, even so, that's still nasty. You're 108 minus 30. That's still a good gap, y'all. I ain't gonna lie.
No.
You can't date an old person.
You want him to be dating some grandma.
No. I want him to date a fellow vampire who has also lived that long and look
Exactly.
or he could be a whole eunuch and live the rest of his life alone.
Not a eunuch.
Us for a while.
What?
As a vampire, you probably ain't going to heaven no way, so you better get your life right. And
No, they sold.
They already did.
Right.
It already did. It's too late.
Way too late.
That was an interesting discussion. There's so much more that could be said about
Yes, there could be.
about Edward and his pedophile self, but we ain't even going into that.
No.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We've seen it. Really excited for what this show on the Mighty Sharp Network has to offer. We have a lot of co-hosts, so you'll be seeing more of us and more of our guests in the future. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Mighty Sharp Network. Okay, we actually reached 700 subscribers, so yay. We're trying to get to 1K, y'all. So subscribe, press that bell so you can get notified every single time we post. On Mondays, we have Our Favorite Things. On Thursdays, we have the Shareholders Podcast. And now on Fridays, we have We Seen It. So stay tuned. Follow us on all of our social media platforms. You can find that in the description down below. And make sure you like this video and comment. Okay, give your input because we need to hear it. All right. Are you Jacob or Edward? I need to know. All right, y'all. So thank you,
Jacob.
Thank you, Jacob. And
Edward.
I'm CG.
CG.
Peace out, y'all.